Hello, people, and welcome to the NEPodcast.
The Northeast podcast.
Yeah, and it sounds like any podcast, so it doesn't matter. With me today is MegaPhilX, the creator of Mega Man Unlimited and fellow Snupster. Yes, hello, sir.
Hello. Do I have to do an intro?
This is not Snupster.
Do you hear ambient noise or...
It's like the gremlins in the background, but other than that, it's fine.
Okay, cool. Hey, I listened to, I watched the stage select video.
Oh, nice. I saw your comment.
Pretty nice.
Yeah, somebody was like, you just don't get the X line up in the story, you don't get it.
What?
Yeah, somebody said that I have to understand the story of the X games to understand why the music is how it is.
What?
It's like, well, in this game, the story is this, so the music is done like this on purpose.
That doesn't... I never thought that.
It's just music.
I mean, the music might fit certain things, but you don't need to know to appreciate the music.
I think this would be the perfect time to stop. I'm on X4 with Shadow Rock CX. I think now, if we stopped now, everything would be fine. Like, just fine. I think we should stop right now.
Well, I like the games despite their imperfections.
Watch over the pit!
One thing I can't stand is when it, like in X5, when they stop you to explain things like every step.
But they also do it in Mighty Number 9's, like, beginning. Press left to move left, press right to move right.
No, but that's nothing. That's nothing. X5, they really stop you, even if the Maverick stages.
Yeah, I've seen it. There's an upcoming bridge. It might collapse, might not, but you know.
It's like you can't skip them. In X6 they have a little beep when you reach these like tutorial spots, and you can ignore it completely. And that's one thing that pissed me off when they made the Legacy Collection. They didn't make Alia shut up in X5.
So those are kind of the same spots as in Mario World with the blocks you hit with your head. Here's this mechanic, but you can skip them.
Yeah, X5, X6 is basically a little icon pops up and you press a button if you want to hear it. Otherwise, you can just continue.
Like, they made the tutorial thing so perfectly on Mega Man X. Like, why did they go backwards 7 times?
It's funny because the game itself is kind of hard. But they don't trust you to know how to jump.
Yeah, that's why I was talking about the Mighty Number 9 thing. Because it tells you all the controls and what to press, but it never explains the core mechanics of the game. You have to go in the fucking menu to read it.
Mm.
The instructions are all there like a book. I actually had to read it on my evaluation. I went to the menus and started reading the text. When you dash into the enemies, you get this, and this is called this, and then you get these bits, and then you use them, and then you bunk your head on the enemies, and then...
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of tutorials.
No, that's why X did it perfectly.
I mean, if I want to look up things, I'll do it, you know. If I'm interested enough to play the game like on a higher level, I'll look up how to play.
Yeah, the game should teach you, like, accidentally teach you all the things you need to know.
Yeah.
With game design. Such as, hey, there's 10 million spikes right after this transition, and you drop on them and you die. This is our game.
Yeah, that's another story, but I mean, you know, I prefer when it explains, like, well, when it teaches you, like, through gameplay, like you said, but only like the basic stuff. It's okay if, like, there's some obscure move that is not shown to you.
Imagine if fighting games had tutorials for all the combos.
Well, they're Well, there are.
Oh no, that I didn't realize. That's
No,
just a joke.
No, usually there's a special mode that it's it's like training or command training or whatever.
Yeah, but I mean, like if they forced it onto you, like you had to learn every single combo.
No, they don't do that. But if you want to progress in that mode, you have to master these combos, and this is where I realized that I'm a very casual fighting game player.
Yeah, it's kind of like you pick one and then you're like, I'm kind of good with this. Let me just try some weird combos and see how it works out. See, I don't mash in those games. I try like different button combinations and different like short moves, and then if they work, I'll start using them.
The only game I can say that I'm very good at in the fighting game, it's Mortal Kombat 2, because I've been playing it since I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I played it like so much that I got sick of it. And then when they released a more arcade perfect port on the PS2, I played it with one of my colleagues at work like every lunchtime. So I played against people, and I played enough to know all the moves and know everything to do to like full human players that have not played enough. But every other fighting game, I mostly play them just because I like, the systems and the animations and the music. It's not because I'm good. If I play online, I'll get destroyed.
Oh yeah, like completely. You never know how bad you suck until you go online. You're like, I'm the best player ever. First online match, dead.
Even Mortal Kombat 2, where I think I'm the best at, I played online and I couldn't win the single match.
I remember on Command & Conquer, I was like, I'm the best player. I got this down. It's like a real-time strategy game. Went online for the first time, and you get some like units at the beginning when the game starts. You get like, I can't remember, like 4 tanks and a couple of guys. Well, some guy, when I went online, the first match ever, guy comes in with the first units they got, and they just killed me. With those, didn't even get to build anything else did.
But me, the strategy games, I guess I got traumatized when I was younger because I'm afraid of playing against humans. I only played like with my friend as a co-op, against the computer.
So did we.
We played a couple games against humans, but I mean, it's I like to like play it slow. I don't like rushing the opponent all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But online, it's always like that. So I don't really like it.
Yeah, it's much more fun to like barricade first. You build your troops and then you just push them all in at the same time.
Yeah, I kind of like to play these games more relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
Like just building my stuff and looking at my little units, and I don't want to. I'm not having fun if I'm like always like in a rush, like stressed out, like all the time, expecting when I'm gonna be attacked.
We played a lot of Age of Empires 2 growing up with my friends, and I'm still probably the worst one, but I still know how to like make 10 knights in 17 minutes, because they taught me how to do that, and then there's all these button combinations. H, C, 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 make more villagers. Got all those hotkeys down, and that kind of eats away from the whole game. Like, okay, now you're a pro. Now what? You just kill everyone.
Yeah, I know, like, I've played Warcraft a lot, but not as much as some people I know, but I know some of the shortcuts, but I don't know all of them. I usually know the ones that are like the beginning.
Then you forget the rest.
The first units and the first buildings, but the ones you get late game, I don't remember them.
When are you gonna do another one of those Best of Snupster that took you a year to make? For years, 2017.
It takes longer to watch all the episodes and take note of every time something funny happens.
Yeah, I should have done that when I was editing the episodes. That would have been the best case. Always mark down the funniest spots. But then that's also work.
I do it when I watch the episode for the first time. I try to, but sometimes you find like things that you think are funny, but at some point you need to do some kind of triage because otherwise
because everything's funny at some point.
It's not, it's gonna be too much, and I also had to like remove some periods of silence, and we get to the joke faster.
Yeah, there's like 20 sentences in between, but it's still funny because it keeps going. I don't think a lot of people know that we know each other. Like on my channel, I don't think they know I know you. It's been 4 years since you joined Snupster.
Really?
Yeah, only 4 years. I thought it's like 7 or something.
I don't really want to see the old episodes.
No, they're kind of garbage.
Because like the ones I've been in, I'm like, I'm like awkward. I don't really know what to say, and I'm kind of I think I sound more boring, and I'm not very funny. Well, I'm not super funny now anyway, but I think at least I think that now I'm a bit more at ease.
Yeah, more at ease.
Like I'm more relaxed. Like I know you guys. I feel more, familiar with the whole thing. So
yeah, it's kind of like that's gonna be a small problem for this podcast. I'm gonna be having guests here that I never talked to before, so I don't know how they react and act. So gotta be careful there as well. You never know people until you've known them for a couple of months at least.
Well, I remember that I told you guys that I didn't want you to treat me like I'm some kind of celebrity or something. Because some people they act like that sometimes.
It's easy for me because I don't respect anyone, so
cool. But sometimes I reply to them and they're like, "Oh my god, he talked to me," or something like that. Yeah. And it's I'm a very normal person.
Yeah, you just made a game.
That's one thing. People tend to I don't know, they tend to I don't find the word now, but overhype like game developer. They oh man, it's
kind of like work you learn to do and then you just do it. It's a game, or whether it's like a website where it's like a design.
They put them on this pedestal, but I mean it does take a lot of talent to make a game, but yes.
A good game.
Yeah, but you'd be surprised that well, especially in the big studios, how many people don't actually like games. They just do their job and that's it. Like, for example, many of the artists, sometimes they just don't play video games, or they play one single game and that's it.
It's kind of like the episodes I make. Like, I might not be even into the games I like evaluate nowadays. It's just I'm just doing them one by one after another. I'm like, well, this is what I do now. It's not like I'm playing them because I enjoy them.
No, but at least you know about them, you play them. What I'm talking about, it's like, for example, a 3D animator. He makes like the animations of the enemies or whatever, the hero of the game. But essentially, for example, one of them I worked with, he was more interested in doing animations for like Pixar than like. So making animations for a game, he doesn't really understand that, it needs to control right, it needs to play right. you know. And one important thing about playing right is that you need to be able to interrupt the actions at any time, you know.
Mm-hmm.
When
the
you
animation.
like when you jump in the middle of a run cycle, well, it's gonna cut the run cycle. the legs are gonna pop into the jump position in a single frame. So, like, sometimes some animators would complain that their animations get, you know, cut, and so you need to. So as a game designer, you need to negotiate, and you know, you need to be good with the communication and politics to be able to push your ideas against people that don't really know why it needs to be that way. And
you can't just go straight up to Pixar. You gotta do some other work first.
But sometimes you can't make it there yet. You need some experience. So
28 years of experience or something. You'll get there.
So, but the frustrating thing is like when those people that have that know less about video games have more power than you in the company.
Mm-hmm.
One part of being a game designer is like in the industry, like when you're on your own, you can do whatever you want.
Yes.
But when you have like multiple teams of different kinds of people working on this, you need to, you need to
have sacrifices.
Yes, and you need to not get attached to your ideas. That's the main thing.
Yeah, if that's the case, I think you need your own project, because you're never gonna get there otherwise. If you always get upset about like not having your way.
Yeah, the thing is that since they're your ideas, you spend time on them, you put them on a document for hours, you thought about a bunch of things, so you're very attached to them by default.
Yes.
But anything can happen. A lot of things can get flushed, and usually you have a creative director above you who is the creative director will basically, if you're making a game of, I don't know, The Simpsons, he'll make his job is to make sure that your ideas are the IP, you know.
Yeah.
Like that.
It's always when you're working for someone, you have to make a lot of sacrifices in your mind. Whatever the project is.
Yeah, you have to you have to be used to, you know, your ideas getting swapped with others, and the thing is, when you're a game designer and you have a creative director above you, usually, you know, like when you have like arguments and brainstorms, sometimes you will have to just document his ideas, and sometimes you just don't agree with his ideas, but you have to document them anyway. And you have to convince people in the team, like programmers and animators and whatever, that this is the thing they have to do, but you're not really convinced yourself. So at some point it gets, I know I might sound a bit jaded, because by the time I got laid off, I was kind of tired, and you know, it was kind of a blessing in disguise to no longer work in the games industry. But basically, when it's your job, it's not all fun and games all the time.
I think it's really brutal, the game industry. Like, you might work on a game for God knows how long, and then it might not even make it. You just wasted your time.
Yes, I've had some games cancelled.
Yeah, what were some of the games that you worked on? I can't remember anymore. Like anything that somebody would recognize.
Well, the company I've worked at, Behavior Interactive, now they're a little bit they're more popular with Dead by Daylight, which is a horror multiplayer game.
I've heard of it.
But usually what we work on, games based on movies license.
Oh yeah.
So I worked on the first PlayStation, the PS1 Monsters Inc. game, for example.
What did you do? What did you do on it?
That was my first That was my first game that I released, actually.
What was your job?
Level designer / game designer. So I make so you make levels for, I don't know, 8-year-old kids.
Yeah. Okay, so Nico evaluates Monsters Inc. What horrible level this one.
But yeah, I worked on multiple other kids games like that. I don't want to list all of them, but based, like, it's basically games based on movies and stuff like that. And
LGN.
yeah, it's so to me it's pretty obvious why movie based games usually not very good.
Yeah, but they still sell well though.
Yeah, that's because they're made to be released when the game when the movie comes out.
Yes.
So they have to make them quickly, and they don't have time to make the best game ever, you know.
Yeah, it's like if the Monsters Inc. movie came out, and it's like, okay, let's start the development of the game. 4 years later, here's the game. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, exactly. But you know, I liked working on the Monsters Inc. game. It was pretty cool. I remember we got. So basically, what I did is I designed a bunch of levels in the game, and back then it was like, you know, today we have Unreal Engine and Unity and all these like ready-made engines. But back then we had an internal engine, and I would design the levels on paper, like in a Word document, and then we send it to the team that actually programs the game. And yeah, the design team was completely separate from the production team, so they would come to our desk to ask questions. We're not even on the same, like, in the same area.
Was that like a 9-to-5 job? Or
yes.
How much money do you make from like shit like that? Like if you're like just a designer for a game, let's say it's Monsters Inc. How much would you say that? Are you making a good buck, or is that just like any other office job?
Well, I'm not. I didn't have a lot of different jobs in software. It was my first real job, so. But I would say a level designer makes like a little bit more than a QA. Like QA is like at the bottom of the ladder.
Of course it is.
Which is bullshit, because they are very important.
Yeah, like one of the more important when it comes to other things than not building the game.
The thing is that there are two different types of QA. There's usually like what we call the production QA. Mm-hmm. These guys are, they're not like it's not a big team. It's usually 2 or 3 people, and they work with the production team.
Just like creative ideas and such, probably.
Well, not necessarily. Like they don't participate in the design meetings, but they will give feedback. The other type of tester, like, are usually hired by companies that only do testing.
Oh.
Like, for example, bigger companies will hire this testing company, and they will provide, like, I don't know, 20 people that will only. Basically, these people they just play the game and they log bugs. That's it. They don't do anything more than that. They don't really participate in the production. They just log whatever they see that they think is wrong.
I like how sometimes people think that the developers don't have the mind of their own. They're like, well, the testers ruined the game. The testers made it too hard. The testers this and that. It's like, yeah, you think the developer doesn't think on their own, like what to add and what to do?
The QA that works with production is better treated than the testers I just talked about that are like whole teams of just testers. They usually have very poor working conditions, and they can get replaced really easily. And I've heard stories that they get paid by the bug.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember them off the top of my head, but like if they log a bug, but it turns out that they can't. Oh, I don't remember the story, but basically they have to enter issues that that are valid. They can't enter just about anything.
Yeah, of course.
Otherwise, they don't count. So there's like a real pressure. Like they need to find. Oh, I remember they needed to find like a certain minimum number of issues per day. Otherwise,
oh my God, I couldn't handle this.
Of course. Otherwise, they can get just replaced just like that.
Well, that kind of eats all of your will to even do it. It's like you're there to make the game better, but if that's the conditions you work in, you're not going to care about it.
Yeah, like most of these people probably sometimes they hope to be able to get an opportunity to work in the company. One of the projects I worked on at Behavior, we were hiring a bunch of testers, but they were working with us, like they were in the same area as us, and many of them looked like they were really enjoying themselves, because usually they would be in some building that isn't even like they don't have
connected.
yeah, exactly. They don't work with the people that make the game. So, but you hear, there's some of them that actually became artists and level designers. So yeah, it's sometimes they get lucky like that. They work with the actual team, but sometimes they're just like monkeys. They just it's really
monkeys with typewriters.
Like I kind of got off track, but what I meant to say is that usually the QA is at the bottom of the ladder in terms of salary. Then you have the designers are usually a bit above that, and the artists and programmers are paid more. In what I remember.
Do you remember how did you find me? Like for Unlimited, like zero prototype. I can't remember anymore. How did that happen?
I don't remember. I think you asked me once, but I didn't really say yes.
I have no recollection.
And then you asked me after, like a long time after, you asked me again, and I was like, oh, okay.
That's one of the misconceptions. People are like, well, the Snupsters tested Unlimited, and that's why it's so difficult. You didn't even know who we were at the time.
Yeah, that's exactly. The game was finished by the time By the time I was with Snupsters and you tested the update with zero prototype.
Yeah, I never even tested the core game.
Because while I was making the core game, I was so afraid of making anything public that we only started testing like near the end.
Yeah, I don't really like public demos. That's a huge problem because you're gonna get so much feedback. It's gonna make you crazy, and everyone has different opinions.
Well, the thing with and I'm gonna talk a little bit about my experience in the game industry again. But the thing with demos is, when you make a demo, you have to prepare the thing to be public, and sometimes you're just not at that point in production to be able to do that. For example, you don't have a menu. Or sometimes it's just like that. Sometimes you just start the game and there's a very ugly list of levels and you select the one you're working on and you test that. But when you want to make a demo, like, I don't know, to release at E3, you need to have a more attractive
you don't want to scare people off.
you need like to have, for example, in the Mega Man game, you need the stage select to be there, you need the title screen to be there, you need the logos at the beginning, you need a whole bunch of things. You need, especially on console, you need the thing to be compliant with all of Sony's or Microsoft's guidelines. So when you are like still making like two levels, like the two first levels in the whole game, you're not at that point where you have all of this, icing on the cake. You're not at that point yet. So when you have to make a demo, you have to do that stuff. And in the big game companies, usually they have a team that works on the game like really intensively, and then they come in and they tell you, oh, you have to make a demo for E3. And so that kind of fucks up the entire schedule just to make a demo. And then when for example, E3 is over and they've released their thing, then they just modified so many things in the game that they have to not restart over, but they have to spend a fair amount of time just to return to normal and continue.
I always prefer like having, like I'd say 10 testers with different backgrounds than to have a demo for the public and then have a million different opinions. You don't know what to do.
Yeah, that's a better idea. At least you're not exposing yourself to a lot of bullshit.
Yeah, I know a few developers that have released public demos and wished they didn't, because they kind of like stopped working on the game because they got so many like mixed up reviews and
the
publicity.
The feedback itself is not the worst thing. Like I said, the worst thing is when you
believe everyone, and you believe everyone's like feedback is correct, and then you try to implement everything.
Yeah, well, with the Mega Man games, it's the community is very everyone's a game designer,
It's very diverse, and I think there's also a generation gap where the younger people, they want it easy, they want to be easily to beat it, they want infinite lives, and the older generation is like, we want to play the games like they were in our childhood. It's really different.
But what annoys me is how everyone has watched the sequelitis videos and suddenly they think they can make a game. I don't want to sound bitter, but the thing is that it's more complex than just the theory of level design.
Yeah, people tend to think that they're like masters now. They know how to do it, and only the way that they do it is the correct way, and everyone else is wrong.
I've said it a lot, but in my opinion, games become boring when they're always made by the book.
Oh, totally.
So, like, when I hear things like,
I know what you mean. When I always say like you have to introduce things before you like test people. It's more like nitpicking, like the things you should do like in the background. But you also need to have surprises in your game, otherwise it's pretty boring.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean, because I remember I was playing, I think it was All Boy. It's an indie game. It's a side-scroller, a little bit like, was it a Metroidvania? Not a kind of open world a little bit. But I remember I was playing it and the graphics were gorgeous. The music was amazing. And I was playing in the beginning and I could tell what was going to happen.
Yeah, that's the problem. You have to find the middle road somehow. You have to be able to teach the player, but at the same time you can't show them like everything.
Like, it's okay to have things that go against the quote-unquote rules of game design.
Yeah.
Because it's these things that will make your game memorable. Because if everyone can predict what's going to happen, it's going to become like everything becomes the same.
Yeah, so, like hand-holding as well, it's what it's called.
No, but not necessarily hand-holding, but, predictable. It's...
Yeah.
it's like a cliche in a movie, you know.
Mhm.
You know, when I'm gonna turn this corner, this will happen. you know, like for example, when you see a big room in a 3D space, you know that a boss is gonna be there.
You go in, the door closes behind you, and everything jumps on you. Yes.
So it's
Music
like
starts.
you enter a big room, you know, okay, there's gonna be a boss here.
Mhm.
So it's the same thing, and I find that games nowadays are especially predictable on that side. They have a really linear level design.
Yeah, because everyone's after money now. They don't really care about how the actual game turns out, especially if it's something like people know. Then you can just release in new versions.
Some game design video I watched at some point, the guy said sometime a designer's job is to peddle out more of the same old with a smile.
Okay.
No, but it's true, because in the industry you're not gonna work on the game you like necessarily. So sometimes you'll just have to do like the same old thing. But as long as you have the good attitude with other people, you're gonna be fine at that job. It's just that if you're looking to rock the boat, it's not necessarily the best place to do it. An indie developer is better to do that, but the thing is that there's other problems like making money.
Yeah, I think back in the 80s, the 90s, really experimental time for like a game. Nobody really knew what was right, what was wrong, what was interesting, what wasn't. So I feel like the games of the 80s and 90s are far more interesting for that reason. Like you never know what you're gonna find.
Yeah, I remember the PS2 era. Even the big companies were experimenting a lot.
Yeah, like X7.
Well, yeah, Capcom during that time, they did a lot of, like, for example, Capcom nowadays, they just make what? They just make Monster Hunter, Devil May Cry, Resident Evil, and the occasional Mega Man games.
Oh, did you hear about the new Make Rockman thing?
No.
So this news broke in like 15 minutes ago, pretty much. And I'm not sure when this podcast is gonna air. It's probably like a week from now. But Capcom introduced something called Make Rockman, which people are now speculating that that's the next Mega Man game they're making. You know what it is? It's
Mega Man Maker.
So it says, this is an officially licensed educational tool designed to teach aspiring game designers on how to code using Scratch, the highly popular block-based programming language, which I never heard of. Make Rockman includes the physical Rockbuster module that can be used on both program Rockman's movements and adjust other in-game variables.
Okay.
So people are like, what? Is this the next game? You just make a Mega Man game? It's basically like a... like the Mega Engine or something like that, I guess. Nobody really knows much about it.
Yeah, like simplified.
Why would that be something that Capcom would make? That sounds really strange.
That doesn't sound financially safe at all.
No, it doesn't sound like fun either. Now you're introducing more people to make crappy Mega Man games.
Like
good job.
Like it doesn't sound like something that everybody would want, you know?
No, it's very specific. Like, who's gonna want to make a game? They want to play a game, usually.
Like, I can understand Mega Man Maker or Super Mario Maker because, it's... you just make levels and you share them, and that's pretty cool. But even then, you have to... You have to be interested in doing that rather than just playing the levels. So... But
that's also kind of like... Capcom might be saying, we've seen what you're doing with like Mega Man Maker and such. So I guess they're trying to be cool now. 5 years later.
That would be... to have a Mega Man Maker of their own would be interesting. But going into like the programming and stuff, it's like...
That requires so much testing. They're not gonna do that.
I mean, it's a noble goal. I mean, that's pretty cool to be able to like... teach people how to make games, but in reality, I don't think it's gonna translate well. You know, when you think about a level maker thing, you think that everybody's gonna make great levels.
Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen.
But in reality, everyone like copies levels from Mario Brothers or
One reimagined, cool again,
or I don't know, troll levels.
Yeah.
So like even if they make it so that you have to beat your own level before you share it, still people make crappy levels.
Let me show this to you. Look at the device. What is that?
Oh, it's the sound from the video. What the hell?
Yeah. That looks super weird. It's like you're making a physical object and then somehow that controls the game.
But how do you go left and right?
It's showcased in like half a minute in. It's like a power glove, essentially. I guess it has like sensors in it, like the ones you have on your phone.
I just want, like, if you expect me to code, I want at least a mouse and a keyboard.
Not a bunch of Legos stick together.
Yeah. Like, try coding with a Wii remote.
But hey, at least they didn't use the Eternal sprite. Mega Man's actually standing upright.
Well, that animation is probably just...
Oh my god, the running animation, like 7 seconds in. It's just like pictures.
Yeah, it's like a flash animation, or it's an animation, it's not like the real game.
I hate how they keep doing that, like, why can't you just take the run animation from like any game? Just record that.
Oh man, did you see near the end, I mean at the last third of it, it's like you can see tries to control it but doesn't really work, and you can see...
yeah, it's like it takes a while because he's not turning it like enough. Yeah. Oh my god, this is what we needed, huh?
I really hope this is not the new thing they've been working on.
People were like, X9, it's gonna be so cool. Rockman.
Like Shadow Rock talked about that a little bit in the other podcast you made. It's like they've been working on it since after 11. They said they started working on something and we don't know what it is. I hope it's not this.
Yeah, everyone hopes it's not this. But this is also for like in Japan only, I guess. Like, it's on their Kickstarter page, whatever that is. It's called Makuake.
It's from Capcom and Artec, it says in the video description.
Yes. Well, this is gonna get scary. So let's celebrate another 10 years of no actual Mega Man game coming out.
You know, when you're a Capcom fan, it's kind of frustrating because you see how much budget they put into Devil May Cry or Street Fighter. And then you look at the Mega Man, and don't get me wrong, they did a great job with 11. They did but it feels like they just came at the last minute team to make a Mega Man game quickly. It feels like all the Mega Man games are like, let's make this quickly.
Because they don't make as much money as their other games, so they're like, well, let's just do it for the fans, but not really care about it.
Like, it feels like Mega Man has always been their quick money, scheme. Not a scheme, but their quick money option. Because, you look at Street Fighter, they have these elaborate CG intros and graphics that are really, really amazing, and it feels like a lot of money was put into it. But Mega Man, it's always like not the bare minimum, but it always feels like they could have put a little bit more work into it.
Yeah, it's kind of like any other fan game that has come out. It's like, all right, there's 2 end game levels. Like, why did you just suddenly give up? Like Mega Man 11 also has like, I think it has 2 or 3 like end game levels.
Yeah, that's my main problem with 11. It's that it's like, I love the game, but it doesn't, like, it lacks a third Wily stage.
Yeah, some of the levels feel like they're made by entirely different people. Like Torchman stage is entirely different than any of the others, and like Fuse Man is entirely different. And
like Wily 1 and 2 are long levels, they're interesting, they're cool. Then you get to Wily 3 and it's the rematch and there's no boss. And what's like, what?
And reusing the yellow devil again, it's like,
oh yeah.
Did we really need to see that again?
You know what's interesting? The second boss, which is like this sphere with the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at the description in the library in the game, you know, you have a description of every boss and every enemy. It says that boss. It says that Wily originally planned to have two of them, one with the power gear and one with the speed gear, but it didn't have enough materials, so he made only one. Man, it's almost, the description is almost exactly like that, and it feels like it's the development team trying to tell you that they originally planned to make another level, but they didn't have time.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Here's an interesting question though: what do you like about Mighty Number 9? Because you said you like it. So what is the thing that you most like about the game?
My God.
Because for me, it's so frustrating. It's a really frustrating game. Like I don't like the fact that you have to shoot the enemies and then dash into them. It's like something that you don't feel like doing.
I guess it's a hit or miss kind of gimmick. Like some people like it, some people don't. I guess it's the drawback of trying to have a gimmick, you know, because
they just wanted to make it different from like Mega Man, and that was their answer.
Because, you know, Mega Man, it's pretty easy. It's not complicated at all. You just jump and shoot. But when you want to make a similar game, you want to have usually people want to have a gimmick. It's the same with the Azure Striker Gunvolt, which also has a gimmick. You have to shoot the enemies to lock onto them, and then you press the button to do the electrical thing, and it opens in automatically. That's the thing. If it's too gimmicky, some people are not gonna like it, I think. And I think it's one of the reasons why people don't like Mighty Number 9.
It's not well done. It's so shoddily done, I think.
But me, I liked the gimmick of shooting then dashing into it, and I like the idea of different colors of enemies would give you different kinds of boosts. I
explained that.
I found it interesting in terms of level design, because it makes it interesting to place the enemies where they match what you have to do in the level. You know, when it comes to a place where you're gonna need more power to your shots, you could place a bunch of red enemies just before the area where you need to shoot a lot of other enemies. You know, I found that concept pretty cool. And I like it's weird because I didn't think the game was horrible, like a lot of people were saying. I don't think it's a horrible game. I guess it depends on which version you're playing. Because the technical aspect was not really well done in all versions. I know that the Wii U version was horrible. The PS4 version was all right, but there were like sound issues and some slowdowns. I mean, I'm not saying the game is perfect, right? It's
like a secret pleasure of yours now, huh?
It's often the case with the first game of any series.
Yeah, kind of.
You know, the first game of a series is rarely the best one.
And neither the second.
I think that if they would have been given the opportunity to make another one, it would have been much better.
They failed to explain the core mechanics, and that's what was so frustrating. It's like I was constantly wondering, why am I red? Why are the enemies blue? What's going on? I had no idea. But
I don't think it breaks the game if you don't really know it. I mean, you have to actually figure out that you need to dash in the enemies, otherwise it's going to be the enemies won't die and quickly enough.
And then if you die at the boss, they give you like gifts. Here's a bunch of like special powers to aid you in your quest.
What do you mean? You mean
when you die to a boss and then you go to the like the gate, and they give you like items so you can beat the boss easier.
Oh yeah, there's like kind of like an Eddie character that helps you.
Yeah, I can't remember anymore, but I do remember that they gift you for dying. They give you the special powers so you can beat it more easily.
Well, personally, I like that the game was challenging. I admit that there were like some cheap deaths.
And then you find the secret with the box in the corner. There's like an enemy inside. You're like, hey, fuck you.
There's a couple of stages that were not that good. But like for example, the one with the, oh god, what is his name? Counter Shade. Mm-hmm. The one that you have to like infiltrate some kind of building, and there's like the sniper guy, you know?
Oh yeah, that's horrible. Oh my god.
There's the stage has no checkpoint until you manage to catch the guy. So if you pick this stage as your first one, you're gonna be you're in for a treat.
I was in for a treat, even though I picked it like as my 5th stage. I was like, no way.
You know, but at least you know when it's not your first stage, you have some kind of arsenal. You know, you can make it. Like one thing I find with the Mighty Number 9 is that the weapons are not really well balanced. Metal blade. But the you know, the little missile weapon, the you know, the bomb that sticks onto things and then you blow it up, it makes like a round explosion. That thing is like way overpowered. You can just blow through everything with that.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit like Mega Man 1, you know. Some things kill you like in 3 hits, and some things barely work, like foot holders.
I feel like they had the mindset on the first Mega Man game, like, well, there are bosses, they have to be difficult, let's just make them hard, and they just fucking insta-kill you. Job done.
And they don't all do it. That's the weird thing. Some are easier than others.
But you know, that's a funny question to ask. Like, what would be a stage if you picked it as your first that would ruin the whole game for you if you just stopped playing after that? For Unlimited, it's easy. It's Rainbow Man. No questions asked.
Well, that's a tricky thing with designing a Mega Man game, because if you have a very linear game like Mario, for example, you have like, you know that people are gonna play this stage before that one.
Yeah, it gets from easy to difficult most of the time, and then Mega Man stages can be all over the place. But
Mega Man game, you have every stage is potentially the first one.
Yes.
So
that's why you have to like build it so that you can beat it with the boss too.
Yeah, you have to make sure that, you know, the first time you see an enemy, it might be the first time in this stage, but it might be the first time in another stage. So, I mean, personally, I don't mind having certain stages that are harder than others, because I you know, it's the same thing as I said earlier, organic, quote unquote, way of designing. So, for example, that's why people remember Quickman.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, like, if people pick that as their first one, they're gonna go like, oh, let's pick something else.
Like, it makes certain, you know, it makes certain bosses feel more threatening than others, and it adds a certain personality to the whole thing.
And then you're like, yeah, I want to kill this guy, but I can't yet, so let me build up my power so I can kill him, and that'll feel good, probably.
Yeah, and it makes it all the more interesting when someone does manage to beat that guy first, you know? It kind of gives it makes things interesting. It's not like always the same, you know?
I can't picture somebody when they first play Mega Man 1, they just go to Iceman and just beat it. That's probably not gonna happen.
Yeah. But you know, that's what makes it's the variety that makes it interesting. You know, it's.
What was your opinion on Mega Man 5? I can't really remember.
Well, when I Well, Mega Man 4 was the first time I actually, like, when I started to really like Mega Man.
Of course. Best game.
And I remember that sometime after 4 released, I had played like 1, 2, and 3 a lot, and I was really into it. And then we went to the video store, and I was like, "Hey, Mega Man 5! Wow!" It's like it's not like today where like you learn a game exists like 1 year before it comes out.
Yeah.
But back then it's like randomly out of nowhere, there's the game like right in front of me. You can rent it right now.
It's really exciting. You know what? I changed. I swapped Mega Man 3 for Rat Racer.
What do you mean?
Like, I went to the store, we bought Mega Man 3, because I was like, hey, Mega Man. And we brought it home, because it was used, so it would work like 1 out of 10 times. It was actually faulty somehow. Could have probably been fixed, but at the time, like, nobody knew how to work on those things. So we brought it back, and I got Rat Racer instead. And you know what? I don't actually regret it, because that introduced me to Rat Racer.
I haven't played a lot of it, so...
But still, I'm like, I should have kept Mega Man 3, even if it worked like 1 out of 10 times. I should have kept it, because then I would have more nostalgia towards it now.
Here's a memory that you can't have nowadays. When we rented Mega Man 5, I remember while driving back home in the car, I was like in the back of the car, and I was opening the box and looking at the manual. Mm-hmm. I was looking at all the Robot Masters, and I was hyped, and I remember reading Napalm Man, and I didn't know what napalm was. So here are the things that can't happen anymore with this. 1, you can't rent a game anymore.
Nope.
2, you can't have a manual, let alone a box anymore.
Nope.
And so like and like now you know the game exists and you know what the bosses are before the game even releases.
And you can't have an opinion anymore either.
Yeah. So like manuals, man. I remember like just reading the manual, like before we even got home, I was looking at it and I was like, oh my God, it looks great. But I remember being disappointed by Mega Man 5 back then, back then.
Did you know that they translated manuals? They translated them to awful Finnish. That was just horrible. I couldn't, like, I knew what they tried to say, but it was all so horribly translated that it just ate away from the experience. I didn't really read any of the manuals.
You mean like the English, like it was in English, right?
It wasn't in English. It was translated.
Okay.
To Finnish. It's like, this controls this, probably. But in Finnish.
Okay.
Just horrible.
For me, it was in English, but you know, only the manuals, like for the Nintendo games, like the first party Nintendo games, they had the French translations.
Mm-hmm. They didn't really care at that point how bad it was.
I remember that Super Mario Brothers 3 had the French manual in it.
Yeah, but some of the manuals, like in English, they were also wrong. Like in Super Off-Road, it says, like if you collide into a lot of things, your car will explode. That never happens in the game.
Like some of the French translations in games are pretty hilarious. But I remember being pissed when they came up with this, like they made a law that requires the game companies to translate stuff to be able to release them here. And I remember being scared that they would just not release certain games because they would be too cheap to translate them. Mm-hmm. But in the end, nothing like that really happened. But it's just like, you know, probably money wins in the end. So they don't really have to. But they do have a translation, but nowadays there's no manual anymore. And behind the box, it says just a couple of sentences and that's it. So
there is a renting on Steam. You play it for 2 hours and return it. That's a problem for Steam developers. Like if you have like a Mega Man style game and you can beat it in under 2 hours, and you don't really want to ever play it again, just refund it. That's kind of a problem.
Well, for me, I don't buy too many games to the point where it's just like I'm not the type to just play a game and just leave it forever.
Yeah.
I remember when I was working at Behavior as a game designer, it was more part of my job to play a lot of games and know a lot of games. So I would buy a lot of different games.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when I worked on one of the, I worked on a game that was like, that could be called a AAA game.
Yeah.
But, so I had to play all the current games like Uncharted and all that stuff. I remember Uncharted was the big thing back then, and we had to do like everything like Uncharted. But, but now I mostly only buy the things that I know I'm going to play and replay a lot.
Do you play games still a lot, or are you like me where, well, you don't record much, but when I record, I feel like I don't want to play games outside of my recordings. So I don't really like play anything, nor do I really have the time, but I guess you have the same problem, like you really don't have time to play anymore.
Well, I still play, but I don't play as much as before. Like before, I could play like for a whole afternoon.
Yeah, I remember being like a teenager. I just woke up, went on the computer, played some Counter-Strike, and then realized it was 3 a.m. suddenly.
I can't do that. Like whenever I play more than, 3 hours, I feel groggy and I feel like I just wasted my time.
Yes. When I was a kid, I was like, I'm never gonna get bored of playing games. But now when we are getting close to 40, it's like, well, I kind of am bored of playing games and don't really have time. And then if you play a game for like an hour or two, you feel bad because you could have been doing some like house chores and something else.
So here's what I usually do in my office, in my room. I have my computer and I draw. I do, like on the computer, I do work. I listen to music and YouTube videos while I draw, and that's it. So I don't like playing games on the computer a lot because I'm used to working at the computer.
Yes.
It's when I want to take a break from working that I go in the living room and there I play games.
That's my problem because I work from home. So if I first sit here for 8 hours a day, do I really feel like sitting some more and playing games? No, not really.
Yeah, well, now I work from home because of the virus. So I draw a lot in my office, and when I'm tired of drawing and being in front of the tablet all the time, I go to the living room, and this is where I will just play games to relax. And I remember the last time I played longer sessions was when the Mega Man Zero ZX collection came out, and I was trying to S-rank the levels.
Yeah.
Then I remember that I spent like a whole afternoon trying to S-rank some of the levels.
There are like a few games that really captivate me as well. It's like, well, the Hitman franchise, I always go back to it, and I always expect there to be a new game, and then I'll probably play it. Spelunky. There's going to be a Spelunky 2, so that's probably what I'm going to play, but it's like 1 or 2 games a year that really excite me at all.
Yeah. For me, it's a little bit the same. It's there's some games that are, that I play because I want to know, like certain games that I want to play because I just want to know these types of games. But the games I keep coming back to are always the same. It's like Mega Man, Devil May Cry, Resident Evil.
It's easier as an older person to like just keep playing the same franchise because you know how it works. You don't have to really.
Yeah, and sometimes I just replay the games. There's Metal Gear as well that I haven't been playing it for a while, but I keep coming back to these games all the time. For me, a real AAA game is a game that is so good that you will replay it a bunch of times and not get sick of it.
Yeah, some games like Deus Ex, games like that are games that you can just go back to and keep replaying them.
I hate this attitude nowadays that you just consume every game and move on to the next as quickly as possible. I hate that. It's on Twitch and all that stuff. I know that not all streamers do that, because a lot of streamers like play old games and they replay a lot of games, but it's mostly like the attitude of, oh, let's play the next popular game, like just playing the current game and then, okay, slap a score on it, move on to the next. I hate
it's
that.
It's kind of like you just want to make money with your stream. It's probably nothing else. You're working essentially.
Yeah, and that. Well, there's also like this whole idea of playing everything. Like, I don't know. I hate I love like replaying the games. I do the same with the DVDs and like movies and TV shows. I have them on DVD because I want to rewatch them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't just want to consume it and then move on to the next thing. Usually, when I like something, I keep coming back to it.
Have you ever had this problem? So if you, at some point you buy two games at the same time, you try them both, then you kind of don't finish either of them.
Oh, I have a lot of games that I've never finished.
Yeah, but usually the problem occurs when you buy like two games at the same time. Like you don't just buy one and beat it. You're like, well, I have two now, I have to try them both, and then you don't end up like beating neither of them.
It's that I guess that does happen more often with the digital stuff, because they like on Steam in particular, because some of them are so cheap you can just buy a bunch of them.
Yeah, you have like 1,000 games in your inventory and you've never played.
Let me tell you how many games I have on Steam.
Okay, let me check.
Because I heard so many people have like hundreds of games, but me,
I have 100 games, but I've played most of these.
It's 163.
Okay, so I got more than me.
But I heard some of them have like thousands of them.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Me, I only started using Steam like very late compared to other people.
I started using it as soon as it came out. I was really young. I was playing Counter-Strike 1.6, and they said that, okay, from now on you have to install Steam to play Counter-Strike. And Steam was a piece of garbage. Oh my god, it sucked so bad. Like, it took for ages to update, for ages to load, it crashed, it like was freezing all the time, and everyone hated Steam. And they're like, people stopped playing Counter-Strike for that reason. Like, Steam is a piece of garbage. It took them like 2 years to actually perfect like the app.
Oh man, it's like at least it's working now. It's not like Uplay, the Ubisoft proprietary software. God. Man, I have a submarine game because I really like submarine.
Okay,
that's completely random. But I'm a big World War II submarine buff.
Okay, here's something you didn't know about you.
I really like submarine movies, stuff like that. It's a very niche and obscure.
Yes.
But I have a Silent Hunter 5, which is a World War II submarine game simulator from Ubisoft, and I can't even play it because Uplay crashes when you start it.
Yeah, that's the best games on Steam. You buy a game on Steam, you install it, and then it installs another platform. Yeah. And then that platform installs another platform, then you have to make an account for that platform, and then the other platform requires that you make an account and tie to the other platform. And then you launch the game, the two platforms launch, and then you're like, sign in to save your progress. But I already made an account and I signed in. But you didn't sign in though. Yes, I did. No, you didn't.
Oh man, uninstall. Uninstalled. Yes. That shit. I hate that kind of stuff. It's like, oh yeah, I remember I was I like to try all kinds of games, even sports games, which is usually not my type. So I wanted to maybe have a soccer game. So I tried the Konami one, which is a PES.
Yes, PES, Pro Evolution Soccer.
Yeah, and they had this demo on the PS4, and I downloaded it. And as soon as I start the game, it asks me to subscribe to something, and then I go like, "All right, I'm done." I wanted to try that one because I didn't want to encourage EA by getting FIFA.
Oh my god.
But then that other one asked me to subscribe too, so I'm like, nope.
I remember being a kid, I absolutely hated Electronic Arts, and now it's like everyone does. Like it's absolutely they've killed so many companies, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, what's funny to me is that everyone hates it, but somehow they still buy the games.
Yes. You can't stop people from being people.
Yeah, it actually frustrates me to see like Angry Joe who keeps making reviews of EA games and complaining about them, but he keeps buying them and making reviews.
Because that's $1,000 per review in like ads. Angry
Joe must secretly like bad games because they pay off the most. But yeah. I'm just kidding. I'm partly kidding because I know that he seems to have to want to encourage companies to make good games. But
I kind of like bad games as well, but I like them because they're bad. Like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. I kind of like that game because it's so weird. It's like no other game on the NES. So I like it for that reason. I like Silver Surfer. People think it's bad. Yeah, it's kind of like artificial difficulty for an hour, but once you learn it, it can be fun.
But when I saw the review from AVGN of Silver Surfer, I was actually interested in buying the game, but I couldn't find it anywhere.
You know what? I bought it. I still have it. It's on the shelf behind me. I bought it instantly. I started practicing.
It didn't look that bad.
No, it's not. I mean, it is full of artificial difficulty. There's no fair spot in the game. Not one fair spot. But it's different. That's why I like it.
The music's pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's made by Tim Follin, who's one of
I don't remember, but
he's one of like the I wouldn't say most successful composers, but it's really one of the most well-known composers for the NES. Like there's a game called Pictionary on the NES, and he made the music for that. It's like the most rocking tune you'll ever heard. And there was like a comment on like the video of the music. Somebody said like, "Can you make music for Pictionary?" And his like fake reply would be, "Yeah, of course." And then it's like this banging music. And the comment on that was like, "It's just Pictionary, Tim."
Yeah,
God
Pictionary is like a drawing game.
Yeah, it's just Pictionary. Let me I'll link the music too, so we can have your reaction if I can find it. Tim, it was just Pictionary. What a talent! My God. A game of video quick control.
I'm playing the song now, but with the low volume. I don't know if you can hear it.
No, I can't hear it, but I'm playing it myself. So it will pick up on the podcast. What a crazy guy.
I'm not a big fan of these
No, it's like
instrument.
It's like same as in Asterix for the NES. I don't like that style, but the fact that he can do it like that, it sounds like some like 80s trance.
I don't really like the instrument, but they still put a lot of effort in it. You can hear it.
Yeah, he can make different styles as well, because Silver Surfer didn't sound like that. It sounded like completely different. It was really good.
Oh god, I can't fucking stand it.
It hit the ceiling, you die. You die.
Oh man.
Hey, so some people like still think that unlimited is too hard, despite it having an easy option. Like people just really don't want to use the easy like the easy mode. Like, why not?
Don't get me started on
No,
that.
I will.
It's like if adding an easy mode was the most unrewarding thing I ever did in when I made the Unlimited.
Why did you add it in? Criticism?
I think it's the first thing that we made after the release. We were like, okay, maybe we should make an easy mode just so that more people can enjoy it.
But it's kind of like you play an easy game, you beat it, and you're like, okay, that's done. But when you have a medium to hard game, you can always come back to it. And doesn't it feel rewarding for like beating a hard game than beating something like really easy?
But actually, I think our easy mode it feels more normal than easy because I don't know, some people have told me that they can't even beat easy mode. So
I can believe that. Like I still don't take this the wrong way, but I still think that it's the younger generation that really has the problem. Because they're used to easy games of like modern era. They're really used to like beating games easily, whereas we are used to like having having a real hard challenge and then overcoming it by learning for like months on end.
One thing, what I mean by unrewarding about making easy mode is that for every little thing that we added, like for example, the Omega Robot Masters, like for everything challenging that I made in the game, I had a lot of kind messages from a bunch of people that were super grateful and happy. Mm-hmm. But easy mode, it's like nobody said anything, and the people that talked about it, they said that they can't even beat easy mode. Or when I tell them to try easy mode, they don't want to switch to easy mode.
Yeah, this is probably a personal problem, but I don't like difficulty settings in games. I think the game should always be like without a difficulty setting, because then it's like you're never gonna know what the game is like with the other settings, and you're like, maybe you don't feel like beating it again with another difficulty setting. So I don't really like them. I don't mind when you can select the difficulty. What I don't like is when there's the dynamic difficulty change. Yeah, like how Mega Man 10 did it. Like they had a hard difficulty setting and the bosses had more moves. Like, please don't do that.
Oh, well, yeah, that's another story. But what I'm talking about is, for example, Resident Evil 4. If you play on normal, the game actually changes as you progress depending on how well you're doing. For example, if you're doing good, it will send more enemies after you.
Yes, so it's kind of like the rubber band thing on racing games.
Yeah, exactly. So like enemies will be more aggressive, and if you suck, the game will give you more ammo and will spawn less enemies and they'll be less aggressive. I hate that because it makes it feel like you're not beating the game legit, you know? It feels like the game changes so that you can beat it, you know? So that's why people play professional difficulty in Resident Evil 4, because in that mode, the game doesn't adjust itself. It's always the same. So speedrunner always play professional because it's consistent. The game is always the same and they can work with that. But when they play on normal, the game keeps changing and they can't rely on it because it's always changing.
This is an example I always bring up, but Need for Speed and Midnight Club. Midnight Club doesn't have rubber banding, so just if you're good, you can beat the AI. But on the later like Need for Speed games, after like Porsche Unleashed, I think they started adding the rubber banding, and you could do a perfect race of like 5 laps.
Oh man, I hate
and
that
not
stuff.
Mess up. And on the last curve, they just overtake you, like for no reason. They just get like a 500% speed boost.
I hate that stuff because it feels so artificial. It feels like I've always preferred games that when you succeed, it's because you were good.
Mm-hmm. And then in some games, it's like you're trying to catch up someone, and then you look behind the corner, they're waiting for you, just sitting there.
An example of why I don't really like the Uncharted games is that whenever something cool happens, it's not because you did it, it's because the game scripted it to happen that way. Like, for example, there's a part in Uncharted 2 where you're supposed to snipe these guys from the other side of a cliff. And there's like a building on the other side of the cliff. And you're supposed to snipe these enemies. And suddenly, after one shot you make, for no reason, one of the buildings just explodes and crumbles because like, it's not because you shot something that made the building explode. It's because it looks cool, so it wants to make you feel cool, so it blows up stuff for no reason.
You've got to be really careful with introducing like scripted moments. Like, if you notice that they're scripted, it eats away from the experience.
I mean, I prefer when, the cool stuff is because you did it.
Yes.
You managed to time your thing, and it just happened. It's emergent. It happened to have hit the guy while it was hitting that other guy, and it looks cool because you actually managed to time it properly, instead of having it scripted to make you feel like you did it.
That's why I absolutely love Midnight Club, because if you mess up, like you really messed up, they're not gonna wait for you. The other racers, they're like 5 minutes ahead of you, and if you know your way around the city and you don't make a single mistake, they're gonna be behind.
I haven't noticed that, but I've been playing Horizon Chase recently. It's a recent game that tries to emulate Top Gear from the NES, the Super NES.
Yeah.
Well, it's the classic racing game with the striped land.
Yeah.
The striped road, and you're not actually racing in a 3D space. You're like on a line, but it makes it feel like it turns. It's made to reproduce this kind of games, and I feel like when I was doing really badly, I could catch up with the first guy.
Yeah.
But I haven't really tested much more than that. It's an
easy way to code. I mean, if you have a racing game, it's really easy to just say, like, have a rubber banding on the AI. That's the easiest way to do it, because then it's like it's always going to be the same kind of method. You don't have to really code how the enemies behave otherwise. Like,
for example, like, I hate when there's rubber banding in other type of game, like Resident Evil 4, for example. But one example of something they could be doing in a Mega Man game that's like that, they could make it so that, when you're almost dead, enemies have a higher chance of dropping health, for example.
On the NES games, it's based on the frame you kill the enemy.
Yeah, well, it's random.
Yeah.
But
unless you can frame perfectly do that.
But if they did something like that, because it's really easy to do. Like, if your health is past, it's lower than 4, for example, have a higher chance of dropping health. Do you think it would ruin the Mega Man game if they did that?
Absolutely. I never like when like developers and like they put in stuff that gifts the player for sucking, as I always say. Like, on some of these Mega Man Maker stages that I've been evaluating that people make on my show, like, there's like a section with a bunch of enemies, you take a bunch of damage, and then they always put like a big energy after that section. It's like, well, you just nullified everything you did to that point. I could have just ran through that and just picked up the energy. Like, some guy, not to speak ill of anyone, but there was one of those stages that was submitted, and I think somebody in our Discord counted like that there was like over 100 HP worth of energy pickups in a stage. Like, holy shit. It's like nothing matters what you do in the stage when you can just run through that. Kind of like Mega Man Powered Up. You just run through the stages and take all the damage and pick up the energies and don't even have to kill anything.
To me, there should be a couple places with pickups. But they should be like kind of hard to reach.
Yeah. And it's kind of like adding the shop is kind of like the same thing. You just farm the bolts and then you have 9 lives, 9 E-tanks, and it's kind of the same thing. I don't really like shops in games. Because then you never really, like, you don't learn the game. You just use your endless amounts of E-tanks to beat a boss.
That's why I made the maximum of 4 E-tanks and unlimited.
Yeah, I think in rock and roll it's like 3 E-tanks max. I think that's like a better way of doing it.
That's kind of what I liked in Mega Man 2. You had a certain maximum of E-tanks, whereas in like 3, 4, 5, 6, you had like 9 E-tanks.
Yeah, and if you game over, you lost the E-tanks. Grass for sucking.
Well, yeah, that in 2, yeah.
Yeah.
I've never understood why people like found it so hard, like to die. Like, for example, in the last levels of Mega Man 2, when you die, you like when you get to certain bosses, you will be lacking energy for certain weapons because you need the weapon to beat the boss. But when you game over, your weapon filled up anyway.
Yes.
So it's not like it's impossible.
No, you just take the dead. You just take the game over.
But coming back to if we made it so that enemies drop more health when you are almost dead, it would suck because like what makes it interesting is when you just happen to get a random health pickup when you're almost dead. Like exactly. you know that you were lucky.
And this is why I hate the infinite lives option. Like I think you should still have it for people who actually really want it and need it, but I personally don't like it because then you can just make it to a boss and you have nothing to lose. You have no threat anymore. You have infinite lives. You're at the boss. You're gonna beat it.
I'm actually glad that Mega Man 11 kept the lives and everything, because there was a moment in the industry where that would have been like unacceptable.
Yeah, the new Mario games, I've heard that if you die enough, if you like game over enough, they just give you Star Man at the beginning of the level. You just run through the level with
there's
infinite Star Man.
In Mario 3D World, they have the white Tanuki suit, I think, and you're just
it's like, what's the point of even playing?
You're just invincible, if I remember right. I'm not sure exactly what it does, but basically you can just breeze through.
Yeah, maybe it's just two grumpy old men talking, but I don't really get the new style of so-called challenge.
To me, it's the same. To me, it's the same philosophy of just consume and move on to the next.
Yeah, probably.
Because it's you're not gonna replay the game. You just want to burn through the content.
Yeah. And hey, this just popped into my head randomly. You met Inafune, right?
Well, yeah.
But why? How did that happen?
But that's meeting is a big word because I don't speak Japanese and.
Well, you've seen him in the flesh.
Yeah. So basically, how it happened is that back then Mega Man Unlimited was called Mega Man 10. And because of that, when they made the website of Mega Man 10, the real one, they used background. Yeah, they used some of my assets, and they even had some of my assets in the Capcom store, the online store. I mean,
so somebody reached out to you.
So yeah, the community manager back then reached out to me, and he apologized, and he offered me the option of either they take down my stuff from their website and they apologize, or they keep it there and they compensate me somehow. So the compensation was to go to Captivate in Hawaii.
Oh,
Captivate, for those people who don't know, is kind of like a press event for Capcom stuff. And it takes place in a different city every year. And it's basically they show their latest game for the press, and they sometimes invite a couple of super fans there.
I had no idea that they actually like contacted you. I thought they just never did.
No, they actually like I guess some fans brought it to their attentions because I didn't do anything personally. I didn't have time to do anything. But yeah, so basically I chose the second option, and they ticket and hotel and meals and everything in Hawaii. And that's where I met, quote unquote, Inafune. I remember being very nervous because I'm really not the type to ask for an autograph.
Yeah. Well, did you?
Yeah, I got him to sign my Mega Man 1 cartridge.
Nice.
And
that's probably worth $20 now.
In one of the conferences where he was showing off Dead Rising 2, I asked him to draw X.
I remember seeing that.
I brought a pen and paper, and I gathered my courage at the end of the conference, and I asked him to draw X while all the others were watching him. And what's funny is that he made the mistake at the beginning. He started drawing 0. Because we all know, as we probably all know, he likes 0 better because that's his creation.
So we're gonna ask him to draw something.
Yeah, but I was very nervous, but it was nice.
It's kind of like going to Inafune. You're like, can you draw Mario for me?
But how many times would I have the opportunity, right? So I decided to go ahead, and like I grabbed a pen and paper on purpose. I put them like I was like, you need to prepare for this thing. Who has a pen on your person all the time? You don't. So I had to. I actually prepared in advance. Okay, there's gonna be this conference. It's gonna be there. I'm gonna do it. After the conference, like the other fans would try to talk to some of the staff. So I had to be quick to get his time before someone else would do it.
So I guess you're in good terms with Capcom now.
Oh, it's I don't think I'm that well known in there.
Yeah, but I kind of felt like in Mega Man 11, I forget what stage, the Blast Man stage. It kind of looked like Tri Nitro Man stage.
Oh yeah, with the bus like exploding and the
spikes at the top, and
yeah.
And it looked like nitro canisters in the air, pretty much looked the same. And
so
it's kind of like you have to just wonder.
One of my ex-colleagues went to work in Japan at Capcom, and I think he told me that he told some of his colleagues about me and what I did. So some people know, but it's just like I think it's just a random conversation. It's not actually like the developers of Mega Man.
Somehow Unlimited is like probably the most well-known fan game out there at this moment. I think. I mean, there's like Rock Force and Super Fighting Robot, but I think if you search for like fan games, Unlimited is probably always the first one to come up. You were just there in the right time, I guess.
Well, I think. Well, yeah, I was not the first one, but it does feel like it was one of the first popular one.
Yeah.
I know that a lot of fan games have popped up after it.
Like, I think Rock and Roll like is pretty similar to Unlimited in like a lot of ways. Like you had the same kind of mindset, you had the same kind of design in mind. They're like really similar games.
Yeah, I prefer it to Rock Force, for example.
Yeah, like it's also a hard game, but it's also really like satisfying once you finally beat it.
I remember I found Rock Force to be too dark.
Yeah, and then you have the little like puzzle stage thing. Like you don't really know what's gonna pop up if you do them in like the wrong order. So you might end up playing like 4 puzzle stages instead of.
To me, it felt more like it didn't feel. There came a point where it didn't feel like a Mega Man game, with like stages that felt more like Castlevania, and the gimmick stages were a problem too. They're like too gimmicky. I remember the Portman that had like these like you get this in this teleporter and you end up in like some kind of mini game.
Yeah, I mean it's still a really good game. It's just really different.
Oh, yeah. Is that you said like you become Mega Man's ass?
What?
Like when you enter a teleporter, you play like a sort of a top-down mini game of.
Oh, I can't remember anymore.
Like you said, like you turn into Mega Man's ass.
Mega Man's ass versus Daffy Duck. It's okay with me.
I have no recollection. Like you'd be surprised how bad my memory is. But hey, I suppose they're now figuring out that there might be a tumor in my head, so I'm not surprised. My memory is garbage. Now, let's put this to rest. Unlimited 2. Coming out in 2 weeks, right?
This is something that is a little bit frustrating for me because I do a lot of... well, not a lot because I don't have a lot of time, but I post a lot of stuff online, and there's usually at least one comment asking me about Unlimited 2.
Yeah, whatever everywhere. You do is like, here's me drawing a picture. But what about Unlimited 2?
Yeah, what are you doing? For the 10th time, what's happening is well, I have been working on that every lunch break, at least at work for a while. And even at home a little bit. But since my daughter started school, I have stopped working at lunch break because I had to come back home earlier, be there when the bus comes back. So because I worked in my lunch break instead of like I worked in my real job on my lunch break to be able to leave early. Yeah. I stopped working on the project at lunch break, and the other times I would be at home. But since then, I haven't been really in the mood to continue to do some programming and sprites and everything. So far, I made like 6 stages plus the boss. The 7th stage it only has like 2 or 3 enemies plus 1 gimmick in it. There's no boss, and it's like incomplete.
So it comes out when it comes out.
Basically, yes, that's the idea. So
so now you can link this to everyone who says, "What about Unlimited 2?" Just timestamp this. It's anywhere from 2 weeks to 20 years.
So what's happening is basically, these days I've been been drawing, I've been doing some editing, but mostly like I really don't feel like doing programming, and it doesn't help that I have some bugs that I don't know how I'm going to fix them. It's come to a point where I think I would need someone to help me because doing everything by myself is too time consuming.
Yeah, people have been like suggesting like maybe you should like work on a game with like Dennis, the creator of Rock and Roll, and something like that. Like do collaborations to make games.
Oh, maybe. The thing is that the unlimited engine is pretty good, but it's outdated, and I would need to support the Xbox One controller. I would need to probably, like, the collisions are a bit finicky, and
but it's still like top notch. It's like 7 years old, and it's still like all the mechanics are pretty good.
Yeah, when we played recently, I was surprised that it was still playable and fun and nice. But the thing is that there's always these little bugs on certain computers with the collisions. Sometimes Mega Man would just go in the ground a little bit.
You know what we figured out? On the latest Snupster episode, we did the Firestorm Moonwalk, and we played a ROM hack called Mega Man Revved Up, and it has like the Mega Man 1 spikes like all over the place in like steady ground, and it's like the hitboxes are garbage, and that made me realize why they never put those spikes in like any of those places in Mega Man 1, because they didn't work right. Yes,
I know when you said that was pretty funny, because it's true, because their spikes were pretty garbage, so the solution was not to fix them, it was to just place them in certain locations where they were not too much of a pain.
Yeah, it's like the hitbox is like twice the size, like what?
Yeah. And the shape doesn't help.
No.
But essentially what I was saying is that, just to clarify, I'm not really a programmer.
I just remember the funny thing.
What?
When I was doing your like Mega Man Unlimited like Spike Man evaluation, Unlimited 2's Spike Man evaluation, I called some of your spikes triangle enemies. Somebody commented like, Nico, those are spikes. Triangle shaped enemies.
But so what I was saying is that, I'm no programmer. I actually learned programming like by myself as I was adding stuff to Unlimited. And my real life job, I do scripting, so I've learned a lot about programming. But I don't think I'm good enough to fix all the problem in the engine. Just finishing the game is gonna take too long, because if I do everything by myself, it's exhausting. So
I'm sure you'll have like 50 people now offering you help.
Yeah,
all the 10-year-olds gonna come out from their caves.
But the thing is that I have to know that I can trust somebody. It's not easy, like, to find someone that I know I will be able to trust to make it to the end, finish.
Come on, a lot of fan games, a lot of communities are 20-year-olds who you can't really trust, and they're doing fine.
I don't know. I haven't really put energy into trying to restart the engine. I mean, looking for people and everything. I don't know. Maybe, but essentially that's the state of the project now. It's
maybe
when I feel like it. Maybe if I can find somebody to help me.
In 10-20 years, we're gonna be 50 years old. So take that into account when you wait for new games to come out.
Oh man, and that's another thing, right? You have to. When you realize that you spend 4 or 5 years of your life doing one thing, sometimes you wonder, that's actually a good chunk of my life.
Yeah, it's the younger you are, the bigger the chunk it is.
So, do you know Mega Man X Corrupted?
Kinda.
That project is like 15 years old now.
Yeah, I mean,
it's like almost. It's half.
It's as old as some people are now who are in the Mega Man community.
It's half a 30-year-old guy's life. It's you know those AAA games like Metal Gear and you know they work about 5 or 6 years on these.
Yeah.
It's maybe longer than that actually. That's awful. Some companies like you know Square, they like they never finish their, like, seems like their games are like in production forever. Like a Final Fantasy VII remake. Do you know how long that thing has been in production? I think it's like 7 or 8 years. I mean, and then, like, for example, like Hideo Kojima, who's been working on Metal Gear for like his whole life.
You're fired.
Is everyone is like they know him because of Metal Gear, so he must be really sick of being associated with that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit like me, who wants to do other things, but people talk about Mega Man Unlimited all the time.
Yeah, once you're known for something, you're known for it. You're never gonna get away from it.
Yeah, but I want to be clear that I really appreciate the comments that people, give me on Unlimited. When I do a stream, there's always at least 4 people that come in, and that's great. That's always appreciated. It's the comments that ask me about Unlimited too that sometimes I've kind of burned out by them, or when I try to do something else and I keep getting back to Unlimited somehow.
It's also because you started talking about it. You started sharing pictures and level selects. Art and things that, and then people get riled up.
Don't get me wrong, I take responsibility for that.
I remember saying that to you, that like, is that a good idea? Like, people are gonna expect the game pretty soon.
Yeah, I remember that, and I was just like, it's part of the reason, part of the thing that keeps me going is the support I get from people when I share things.
Yeah, for sure.
I know that back then, that's one thing that, like, when there wasn't no internet, you draw something, and if you have people that don't care about that around you, they're not gonna care more.
You're gonna find it in your drawer like 20 years later.
It's like, that's the great thing about the internet. You can share stuff with people and find people that like the same things as you.
Yeah, that's kind of the problem with like my channel right now. Like, if I make Nico Evaluates, everyone's like, yeah, that's what we subbed for. If I do anything else, you're like, what the fuck are you doing? Can't do that. Nico Evaluates Castlevania. No. This is not what I wanted.
No, but I say you should probably do it anyway. For me, I don't really care on my channel. I post whatever I want.
Yeah. Like, suddenly, not like the Action 52 thing that I did, it's now started to get views. Like, all of a sudden. Like, maybe like in the future, people will just find it and the YouTube algorithm will share it. So I guess still doing other things is fine.
Yeah. The only place where I don't post everything I do is on the Mega Man Unlimited page, because it's named Mega Man Unlimited. I don't want to share everything else on that page, because people will be like, what the hell is that?
Yeah, kind of like Snupster episodes.
No, that's not because of... it's because I forget.
Yeah, I understand.
No,
I make fun of that sometimes.
No, it's just like I'm not gonna share shampoo pictures on Mega Man Unlimited because it's like they won't even like, what is it? Why are you sharing this here?
Yeah, I use my hair products every day. I don't need to see them on my screen.
For the people who don't know, Shampoo is an anime character I really like. I'm not talking about the hair product.
And he really likes it.
Yeah.
It's in Unlimited too, so...
And she's in Mega Man Unlimited 1 if you look for her. So
I found it. I was good enough. I used my skill to find her. Like you saw the episode when I made an episode about Unlimited, and you were like, you actually found shampoo.
That's funny. That's funny because I did a let's play of the game, and I just first time I get to the shop, there she is, and it's like it's a 3% chance, and the first time I get there, she appears. I'm like, whoa! I didn't rehearse anything. I just like opened the shop for the first time in my let's play, and
you would have think like you would have tried for like 20 times in a row and.
Had I wanted to showcase it, of course she wouldn't have appeared. It's always when you don't want it to happen, or if you don't care, it's gonna happen.
Well, it's been 2 hours suddenly. I still want to talk for another 5 episodes at some point, but I think we should wrap up for today. It's been 2 hours, but I still have one mission for you. As per tradition, you have to give your autograph to the Blackboard with MS Paint the best you can. Freehand. I had a huge list of things to talk about. We covered like 10%.
Really? I didn't make any... I didn't prepare anything.
Yeah, I didn't really like prepare. I just had some like points to talk about.
Maybe I wanted to talk a little bit more about the games industry. Like we cut after I talked about the salaries a little bit, and I don't think I finished the thought. But I mean,
well, we can always have another session.
It's I don't know. I thought people would probably be interested in it.
Yes, I mean, gotta save something for the next one.
Goodbye, everyone. Thanks for watching. So generic.
Whose channel is this?
Thanks for watching.
That's
Nico
a good idea.
Evaluates.
I should have done that every time I like close an episode. Thanks for watching.